They called it the Great Endeavor, the moment humanity, facing its limits on Earth, turned its gaze outwards, not just to visit, but to remake. The science was breathtaking, the ambition almost divine. Driven by a new breed of industrial titans, they sought to engineer a paradise. But beneath the dream lay profound questions: the right to remake a world, the shadow of inequality, and the seeds of a new conflict sown in the red dust. The full story, a special ATM documentary. Watch now.
They report the chaos. We reveal the agenda.
Good evening, and welcome to ATM. Imagine a future where Mars isn't a barren red planet, but a thriving second Earth, a new home for humanity among the stars. This vision, once confined to science fiction, is now a subject of serious scientific inquiry and ambitious engineering proposals. Is this an impossible dream, a mere fantasy, or humanity's ultimate destiny, a necessary step for our long-term survival and expansion? And what if the fate of an entire world rests not in the hands of governments and international collaborations, but a few audacious billionaires with the resources and vision to pursue such a monumental undertaking? We're diving deep into the science, the profound ethical considerations, and the staggering cost of terraforming Mars, exploring if this truly is humanity's last greatest frontier, a challenge that could define our species' future. This journey will uncover the complexities and controversies surrounding the transformation of our red neighbor. Why Mars? Of all the celestial bodies in our solar system, Mars holds a unique and compelling allure for terraforming. It's relatively close to Earth, making missions and potential colonization more feasible than to other planets. Its proximity offers a practical advantage for transportation and communication. It has a day-night cycle remarkably similar to Earth's, with a Martian day lasting just over 24 hours, which is crucial for human adaptation and biological rhythms. Crucially, NASA's Perseverance rover and orbital missions have confirmed what scientists long suspected. Mars once had liquid water, potentially vast oceans covering its surface billions of years ago, and still holds immense quantities of water ice, locked beneath its surface and at its poles, a vital resource for any future human settlement. Just last year, in 2024, radar data from advanced orbital probes suggested the presence of subsurface glaciers, larger and more extensive than previously imagined, indicating a significant reservoir of water that could be tapped for terraforming efforts. These findings underscore Mars' potential as a water-rich world, despite its current arid appearance. Mars possesses the raw ingredients, the ghost of a habitable past, that fuels the audacious dream. Could we bring it back to life, restoring its ancient oceans and atmosphere? Could we engineer a blue marble from a red rock, transforming a desolate planet into a vibrant, living world capable of sustaining Earth-like ecosystems? The similarities in axial tilt and rotational period further enhance its appeal for such a transformation. Terraforming Mars is arguably the most ambitious engineering project ever conceived by humanity, a monumental undertaking that dwarfs any previous human endeavor. The ultimate goal: to create a breathable atmosphere rich in oxygen, raise the planet's frigid temperature to above freezing, and establish stable liquid water on the surface, allowing for the flourishing of life. This process would involve a series of complex, interconnected steps. The early concepts for achieving this, though scientifically challenging and often speculative, were undeniably dramatic and captured the public imagination. Carl Sagan famously proposed vaporizing the Martian polar ice caps to release trapped carbon dioxide and water vapor, initiating a greenhouse effect. Later, more extreme ideas involved crashing asteroids into the planet to introduce volatile compounds and kinetic energy. or even detonating thermonuclear devices to release subsurface resources and warm the planet. While the idea of nuking Mars is now largely dismissed due to the catastrophic radioactive fallout and its inefficiency in achieving widespread atmospheric change, as NASA scientists have repeatedly pointed out, the core principles behind terraforming remain. These involve releasing trapped CO2 and water ice, thickening the atmosphere through artificial greenhouse gases like chlorofluorocarbons or methane, and warming the planet enough for liquid water to exist stably on its surface. The challenge lies in finding sustainable and non-destructive methods to achieve these goals. But let's be clear, this is not a weekend project, nor a task that can be completed within a single generation. Even the most optimistic scientific models, like those presented at the 2025 International Astronautical Congress, suggest that creating even a minimally breathable atmosphere, one that could support simple plant life, would take centuries, perhaps even millennia, of sustained effort and technological advancement. The sheer scale of atmospheric engineering required is unprecedented. Establishing a stable, self-sustaining ecosystem, complete with complex flora and fauna, would take far longer, extending the timeline into the distant future. This phase would require not just atmospheric changes, but also the introduction of diverse microbial and plant life, and the development of a functioning hydrological cycle. This is a multi-generational gamble on an unprecedented scale, requiring sustained investment, unwavering political will, and technological leaps we can barely imagine today. It's a commitment that would span countless human lives, demanding a long-term vision for humanity's future. But the scientific minds are already working on the how, meticulously planning the intricate steps required to build a new world. In the next part, we dive into the mind-bending science of building a new world, exploring the specific technologies and biological processes that could make this dream a reality. The dream of terraforming Mars is seductive, promising a second home for humanity. But how, practically, do you transform a frozen, irradiated desert with its thin atmosphere and harsh conditions into a habitable world capable of sustaining Earth-based life forms without the need for protective suits or habitats? The science required for such an undertaking is truly staggering, pushing the very boundaries of engineering, biology, and perhaps even ethics. This ambitious project demands a comprehensive toolkit for playing God, reshaping an entire planet to our will. Mars's current atmosphere is razor thin, less than 1% the density of Earth's, and primarily composed of carbon dioxide. The initial and most crucial step in terraforming is to significantly thicken this atmosphere, increasing its pressure and density to a more Earth-like level. Scientists propose releasing the vast amounts of CO2 believed to be trapped within Martian rocks and polar ice caps. However, even the complete liberation of this existing CO2 would not be sufficient to achieve the desired atmospheric density and warmth for habitability. The real heavy lifting would necessitate manufacturing potent greenhouse gases on an industrial scale, a monumental engineering feat. We're talking about pumping millions of tons of artificial super greenhouse gases like perfluorocarbons into the Martian sky to effectively trap heat and warm the planet. These perfluorocarbon compounds are far more effective at trapping heat than CO2, making them crucial for rapid warming. Simultaneously, introducing genetically engineered microbes such as hardy cyanobacteria could begin the eons-long process of converting the abundant CO2 into breathable oxygen, slowly transforming the atmospheric composition. Step 2. Liberate the water. Mars has vast reserves of water ice, primarily at its poles and beneath its surface. Melting this ice to create liquid water bodies requires immense energy and innovative technological solutions. One proposal involves building massive orbital reflectors, giant mirrors positioned in space that would focus intense beams of sunlight onto the Martian polar caps, acting like a colossal magnifying glass to melt the ice and initiate water flow. Another, perhaps more feasible option involves deploying geothermal power plants or even controlled nuclear reactors directly near the subsurface ice deposits. These energy sources would generate the heat necessary to melt the ice from below, creating initial lakes and rivers. Planetary scientists like Dr. Sarah Milkovich believe that triggering a runaway greenhouse effect is key to sustained warming. This process involves melting some ice, which releases CO2, further warming the planet, melting more ice, and so on, creating a self-sustaining cycle of atmospheric thickening and warming. The final, most profound step in terraforming Mars is the introduction of life. This would begin with the hardiest extremophiles, microbes capable of surviving and thriving in extreme cold, high radiation, and low-pressure environments, acting as biological pioneers. These pioneering extremophiles would condition the Martian soil and atmosphere, preparing it for more complex life. Gradually, lichens, mosses, and eventually, genetically modified plants specifically engineered to thrive in the thin, CO2-rich air could be introduced, slowly building a nascent ecosystem. Creating a fully breathable atmosphere and complex self-sustaining ecosystems would undoubtedly take millennia, representing a slow, deliberate dance between advanced planetary engineering and guided biological evolution. The science behind this endeavor is truly awe-inspiring, a testament to human ingenuity and our capacity for grand vision. However, this ambition forces us to confront the deepest ethical questions. Do we, as a species, have the right to remake an entire world in our image, potentially altering its natural state forever? And what if we are not alone? If indigenous Martian life exists? In the next part, we will delve into the profound ethical quandaries of playing God on a planetary scale, exploring the moral and philosophical implications of such a monumental undertaking. We've explored the breathtaking science of potentially turning Mars blue and green. But just because we can do something, does it mean we should? The power to reshape a planet carries an immense, almost terrifying weight of responsibility. Before we launch the atmospheric factories and melt the ice caps, we must confront the profound ethical quandaries. The most immediate ethical challenge is the question of indigenous Martian life. While rovers haven't found complex organisms, the possibility of microbial life hiding beneath the surface, perhaps near geothermal vents or subsurface water, remains very real. Astrobiologists like Dr. Kendall Lynch constantly emphasize the need for caution. If life exists on Mars, however simple, do we have the right to potentially extinguish it in our quest to create a second Earth? The principles of planetary protection demand we avoid harmful contamination. Terraforming is, by definition, the ultimate contamination. It forces a stark choice: preserve potential alien life or prioritize human expansion. Even if Mars is sterile, who gets to decide its future? Does a private corporation driven by profit have the right to fundamentally alter another planet? Does a single nation, even the superpower, have the right to claim it as their backup? The Outer Space Treaty is vague on resource extraction, let alone planetary engineering. Should such a monumental undertaking require a global consensus, perhaps through a new UN framework? Or will it be a first-come, first-served race where the technologically capable dictate the rules for everyone else? This question strikes at the heart of future international relations. And what kind of society would we build on a terraformed Mars? Would it be a utopia, a fresh start for humanity? Or would we simply export our old problems, inequality, conflict, and exploitation, to a new world? If accessing Mars requires trillions of dollars, Who gets to go? The wealthy elite escaping a troubled Earth? Will Martian resources benefit all humanity, or just the shareholders of the companies that mine them? Will the first Martian cities be bastions of freedom, or company towns ruled by corporate overlords? Before we reach for the stars, we must grapple with the demons within ourselves. In the final part, we turn to the driving force behind this new space race, the Billionaires. We've explored the science and the profound ethical questions of terraforming Mars. But the driving force behind making this dream a reality is not governments, but a handful of immensely wealthy, fiercely ambitious individuals. The new space race is being led by these new space barons, individuals whose personal fortunes and relentless drive are reshaping humanity's future beyond Earth. No individual is more synonymous with Mars than Elon Musk. His obsession with making humanity a multi-planetary species is the founding principle of SpaceX. Musk's vision is clear, audacious, and often controversial. Build a fleet of reusable starships, establish a self-sustaining city on Mars, and eventually terraform the planet. For Musk, Mars is the ultimate backup plan, an insurance policy against existential threats on Earth. He is not just building rockets. He is building an escape hatch, fueled by his personal fortune and relentless drive. SpaceX's valuation, now exceeding $200 billion, is largely built on this Martian promise, attracting significant investment and global attention. While Musk focuses on colonization, Jeff Bezos and Blue Origin have a different, though equally ambitious vision: industrializing space for the benefit of Earth. Bezos envisions moving heavy industry and resource extraction off-planet, using lunar and asteroid resources to preserve Earth's environment. His focus is less on terraforming Mars and more on building the infrastructure, the transport, the power, the orbital factories that would enable a vast off-world economy. It's a vision of space as a resource base and industrial park, serving Earth, creating a sustainable future for our home planet by offloading polluting industries. These billionaire visions are compelling. They offer hope, technological marvels, and perhaps a path to long-term survival for our species. But they also raise profound questions. Is the backup plan narrative just an excuse to ignore the urgent crises we face here on Earth? Climate change, inequality, conflict? Will these off-world settlements truly be open to all, or will they become luxurious, gated communities for the ultra-wealthy, leaving the rest of humanity behind on a damaged planet? The race to terraform Mars, or at least to exploit space resources, is accelerating, driven by private ambition as much as national strategy. It forces us to confront the ultimate question: is space humanity's shared destiny, or just the final frontier for unchecked capitalism? If this journey to Mars has sparked your curiosity, please give this documentary a like. Comment below, should humanity terraform Mars? And subscribe to ATM for more deep dives into the future we are creating, exploring the complex implications of these ambitious endeavors. Before we reach for the red planet, perhaps we should focus on saving the blue one. The choice, ultimately, is ours. Thank you for joining me on ATM as we continue to explore the frontiers of science, technology, and human ambition.